do this. Okay, and then I just need to make you host. So let me try that so that we can
Share the
test the
screen.
presentation. Okay, I've just made you host, so you should be able to test it now.
Let's do screen 2. There we go.
I'm gonna kill him.
Okay. Is it showing?
No, I haven't. I can't see anything. I don't know if you got the right screen.
There's back on that screen. Okay, it should be live now.
No, still can't see anything. Double click to int. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. I see it. And is there any videos or anything?
Yeah, there's like little short videos.
Do you want to just check that for the sound?
The
Then we can
sound.
just see that's working.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Is there sound?
Yeah, there is
Let me.
sound, but I mean it's fine if it doesn't pull
Oh,
through.
there we go. Now it's working. Because you just have to share your computer sound.
Okay. Is it on now?
It was, and then I can't share it now. Just try again.
Okay.
Um, no, is a on your mic thing, there is a share computer sound.
Okay, that's on there. Should be pulling through now. Still not. Okay.
No.
But that's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, you can play with it. You've got plenty of time. You want to try and play with it, you're welcome to.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, everybody's logging on. I'll come back to you. We're still early.
Well, there's already 7 on. Wow.
Yeah. course, everybody normally just comes on at 9, so we'll just keep waiting for everyone, okay?
Perfect, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so sy doen dit alles.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's training session. I see there's still quite a lot of people logging on at the moment, but what I'm going to do, Chris, is I'm just going to welcome you. We're very excited to have Mount Eco, or however you pronounce it, Private Game Reserve in the Western Cape training us today. So Chris is going to introduce himself, and while everybody logs on, then you can get started. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. It's Mont Echo Game Reserve.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So I just want to give a heads up. My voice is a bit raw, and you will hear a lot of this. It is absolutely freezing here today. So we all have our -10-degree jackets on, and they are quite noisy in a small, intimate environment. So yeah, I am the operations manager. Well, my name is Koos van Tonner. I'm the operations manager here at Mont Echo Game Reserve. So I basically oversee the whole reserve, the lodge, the marketing side of the reserve, the animals, the conservation, maintenance, yeah, basically everything. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's me in short. So if everyone is ready, I can start with the presentation. Everyone can see my screen, correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm happy for you to go ahead. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. So just a bit of history. We bought the property in 2016. It was previously it was a game reserve, but it wasn't a big five reserve. It had a few springbok and a few eland on the property. So when we bought the property, we started with the fences first of all, doing fences right round, and then the big challenge started with introducing all the game and making sure everyone settles in. So we first brought in the elephants. They're the most important. So they were the first ones here. Then after the elephants, we brought in the rhinos, then the buffalo, and then lastly we brought in the lions. Recently, like 5 6 months ago, we brought in some cheetah also. We have a partnership agreement with the Endangered Wildlife Trust so that we can assist with the meta population growth of these cats. Um, yeah, and then basically we have all the other normal game: your giraffe, eland, springbok, kudu, waterbuck, the Cape Mountain zebra, which is also a highly endangered species at the moment. So we're trying our best to get the numbers going with them. But yeah, they tough animals. And then yeah, we have the leopard that makes his show every now and then. Our last sighting of leopard was 2 months ago. So just to give you that understanding, the leopard is not it's not like in the Kruger where you are lucky enough to see him if you stay for a week. Um, yeah, they really tough to spot because they go wherever they want. There's one that's been tracked that has moved from here, well, two properties opposite of us, and he's moved all the way down to Hermanus and then all the way back again. So they tend not to stay in one place for too long. But yeah, that's leopard. So if you see leopard on the property, it's a real special sighting that can be treasured for forever. Okay, so that's just a bit of background on the reserve, and then we started construction when COVID came. Well, just before COVID, 2019, construction started, and then COVID hit, and it was the perfect opportunity for us to finish all the building work. I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so there wasn't really regulations or anything keeping us from working, which was good. And we opened our doors in March 2022 for our first guest. And yeah, it's been a fun ride so far. Our biggest market at the moment has been the Germans. And because the Germans travel mom, dad, 3 kids, mom, dad, 4 kids, we saw the need of adding another 2 units. So we should be completed with those new units by December if everything goes according to plan. Everything is on track so far, but yeah, opening date for them is going to be the 1st of December this year. And there we will have, so it's a family unit, but it can also be used as 2 single units. So there's an interlinking door between the units, kids in the one room, mom, dad, and another kid in the main room. They are not as big as our current unit. So our current unit, one unit is about 80 square meters big with its own little small kitchenette area. It's got a dining area inside. Most people use it as a working space, or they sit outside on the patio. But these new units are the main unit is about 70 square meters, and then the kids unit is 55 squares. So it's not as massive as our first units, but it's still very spacious.
Hi, Kwas.
Hi.
Hi, sorry, it's Shanae. I just wanna be sorry to interrupt you. I just wanna
No.
find out. We're only seeing the picture of the giraffe, not the room.
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna go to
Okay.
the rooms now. This was
Okay.
just basically a bit of background.
All right, cool. Okay,
The
thanks.
issue is when I start talking, I don't stop.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, but yeah, that's the background and the vision going
Okay, no
forth.
problem. Thanks.
All right. So now we're gonna start with the presentation. All right. So where luxury, nature, and conservation unite, the conservation part is very special for us. The owner has got a massive bond with elephants, and yeah, it's his passion more than anything else. So to bring all the animals back to where they once roamed was like a dream come true for him. And yeah, we're keeping that alive, and we're gonna keep pushing it. So at the moment we have 6,750 hectares, and as you can see in the photo in the background, there's nothing. The only building sites is the lodge and the accommodation, and then also the staff units. But other than that, it's wild. There's untouched, nothing, no human influence or touches. We left everything as it is. We also have on site, we'll get to that in the next slide, but we have Bushman paintings also untouched as it was done back in the 1600s. There's a few settlers' houses that's on site that we take our guests to. There's some fossils, and lastly there's a little place that we call the Wall of Mystery. It's, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but over here on that little hill there's a wall that's just standing there. There's no report what it is for, what it was used for, why it's there. So we believe maybe it was settlers who wanted to build like a kraal for their goats and their sheep, and something happened that chased them away, and they just basically left it there. Then, okay, so we are in the Klein Karoo. We based just outside of Mont. Beautiful little town, a lot of history, fantastic wines around the area. So we're really in a privileged area if I may say so. So we're about 4 hours, 45 minutes away from Cape Town. I drove from Cape Town this morning. I left there at 6 and I was on the farm at 8:25. So also depends on how you drive, but it's not that far and it's a very scenic route from Cape Town to the farm. We have a airstrip available. It is not completed yet. It is not where we want it yet. We can only do small planes and helicopters, but there is future plans to enhance it and get it longer and bigger to accommodate the slightly bigger aircrafts. And then an important part is our Big Five is free roaming. You're not going to come here and drive from one cage to the next cage. And I use the word cage because as soon as it's in a camp, it is a cage. It's a zoo feeling that you get. So here you actually have to go and look for the wildlife, which at times can be quite tough. We had guests not so long ago who drove for 3 hours on the farm and they only saw springbok and giraffe. So yeah, they were also the only people on site. So the guides didn't have radio signal from other guides about sightings. So this is true wilderness. You go and look for your wildlife. And then, yeah, just the 7 suites on site. Like I said, 80 square meters big and very convenient. Okay, here's a little clip of the wildlife on the farm. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we have the Big Five, then the cheetahs, giraffe, zebra, and also the bird species is quite astonishing. If you think about it, you're sitting here in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, it's nice to have all the bird species coming around. And then another thing that sets us apart is there's no crowd. So we have an in-house rule that says there is not allowed to be 2 vehicles at a sighting. From time to time, it does happen that while one vehicle is at a sighting, another vehicle will approach. So it does bother us a bit. We're still working on the finer details, how we can solve that issue. But yeah, 90% of the time, there's one vehicle at a sighting. So there's no crowds. You can spend your time with the sighting and then move on. So the guides will also take as much time as needed or as what the guest wants to spend at the sighting, and then they'll move on to the next adventure that lies ahead. We also, because it's the Karoo, the photography is on another scale. I mean, you have, let's call it your rhino, and then in the background of the photo, it's open. There's nothing. You just see mountains and hills. Yeah, it's spectacular to see, and the photographers has taken a good liking in the reserve. So just another good selling point. Okay, so this is the accommodation. As you can see, we're completely off the grid. There's no telephone lines on the farm. There's no electricity lines on the farm. Nothing. We do have high-speed fiber Wi-Fi at the lodge and in the rooms, but as soon as you hit the gravel road, that connection also stops. And that's just simply because you are here to get away from the hustle and bustle. You're here to relax. You're here to find yourself. You're here to be one with nature again. So, yeah, great. All right, so we'll get to more photographs now. There we go. Okay, so every unit has got its own private deck. There's a seasonal riverbed in front of the units. Yeah, we've used sustainable materials in the whole lodge. Everything is reused, repurposed, and there's a lot of fine detail in the rooms as well as in the lodge. Then every unit has got its own Wi-Fi, it's got its own air conditioning. They don't share anything with anyone. What's in your unit is yours. If you want to watch top HD movies, you're more than welcome. Your neighbor is not gonna get nailed because you do that. And then yeah, like I said, it's small and it's intimate. Every staff member at the lodge knows every guest name, a bit of its back, his or her background. So we try and be as intimate as possible with our guests and making it personal for them. You know, creating a memory they will cherish for forever. So every unit has got its own or has a king size bed in it. And then we also make room, there's enough room for kids at the moment. So we can accommodate the 2 adults with 2 kids. We have like I don't want to call it a sleeper couch. Let's call it a sofa. And then if there's another kid that's young enough, we bring in another small bed into the unit. So there can be 2 adults and 2 kids in one unit currently. Okay, that's just an overview. First picture is the lodge, the main reception area. And then we have a small little games room. You can see my mouse, correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay. This is a small little, we call it the games room. So there's a pool table in there. There's some board games. We do have a television also in there with full DSTV and Netflix and all of that. But we don't recommend people using it. I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of coming here. And then, yeah, this is the room. This is the bath area. To the left is the toilets, and to the right is the showers. And then this is just a big overview of the room. So you can see it's nice and spacious. Every unit's got its own little fireplace in it. And yeah, it's warm and fuzzy and cozy, and you just want to be in there. Okay, so the dining, all our food, ingredients, everything is sourced locally. So we use all the local producers in town. Our chef is also, they try and bring the karua out in every single meal that they put out. Breakfast is quite difficult, but the other meals is, you know, you get your lamb shanks, your rack of lamb, springbok. You know, it's all from the karua. You must taste the karua while you're sitting here. Then we have a nice selection of wines. We have our own little cellar on site. And once again, all local wines. We don't, I want to call it import. It's not the right term, but it feels like the right term for the wines. We stock all the local suppliers, all the local vineyards. We stock all their wines. And then, yeah, that's the dining in a nutshell. Okay. Game drives. This is just a quick overview of that. Okay. So basically, the reserve runs over this little hill here, joins to the one there at the back, coming down all the way there, up again. There at the back, if you can see that little knob sticking out there, over there, and then it comes all the way around. So it's big. It's nice and spacious for the animals as well as for the guest. So also because we're in the Karoo, we only do 2 game drives a day, in the morning and sunset. The simple reason for that is during the day in the summer, it gets scorching hot. You're talking about 39, 40 degrees. And in winter, we do it later in the morning so you can first warm up. So we will go out in the winter, we will start our game drives at 9, 9:30. Guests usually have breakfast and then they head out. Some of them want to head out early morning for the best possible sightings. Then we do that and we send them little snacks on the game drive that so they don't die of hunger out there. And when they come back, then they do their breakfast. In the afternoons, yeah, the sunsets here are something else. So that stays more or less on the same time daily between 4 and 5. Some days in summer months we start later. We start like 5:30 because it only gets like dark at 8 o'clock at night here. So then you've got enough time to be out at night. Yeah. We also do guided walks. There we go. And that gives you another aspect, another insight into the lives of the wildlife, you know, getting closer to them, just being able to be in their presence. It's a whole another level that you can encounter. And then also you have the time to look at the plant species. The guides will then share the medical uses, what the people use them for, what some people are still using them for. So it's all more intimate when you're on a walk. Unfortunately, with kids, if they are under 12, they cannot go out on a walk just for safety reasons. But yeah, it's good to be outside on foot and to track them. Okay. Right, at night. Sorry about that. At night, the stars here are just, it's insane. It's beautiful. We sit in our way some evenings and say, how are we so lucky to be able to witness this every night? So we do stargazing. We also do bush dinners, boma nights. So if our guests stay for 2 evenings, then we will spoil them with a boma evening, and they can sit under the stars and just be in nature again. We also have a tree planting initiative. So every year we plant about 500-600 trees. Depends on the availability of the local nurseries, what they've got available. And then when we do plant them, we take our guests with us. And it's so special for them because they're leaving a part of themselves in Africa. Yeah, and it's just so special to see like a family, a mom, dad, and a child planting a tree, and you know they've put in something back to Mother Nature. Okay, that's that. And then, yeah, like I said in the beginning, our commitment to conservation, all the projects we've got going, helping meta populations grow, being in contact with the big key players out there. It's very, very important for us. And that's us in a nutshell.
Thank you, Chris. That was amazing. What sort of is the minimum stay that, or the amount of nights people normally spend at the lodge?
Okay, so we don't have minimum stays. It's only in December, then we've got 2-night minimum stay. But during the rest of the year, it's if they want to stay a night, they stay a night. We don't have a set rule on that. But our guests normally stay 2 nights.
Okay,
It
awesome.
is very seldom that there's a 1-night booking.
Yeah,
So 2
perfect.
nights is a good number.
Okay.
And then the other thing I forgot, sorry, someone is going to ask me about it now. Kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do take all ages of kids onto the reserve. When they are under 4 years, then they need to book a private vehicle. They can still go out on a game drive. It just needs to be in a private vehicle. They cannot share with other in-house guests. And if mom and dad wants to go alone, then we have child mining services also available. So they can still go out. Boy stays here or girl stays here, and we look after them.
Perfect. Okay. I think pretty much everything was covered, but does anybody have any questions for Chris at all?
Hi, Chris. Just one quick question. Guests are self-driving to the lodge, obviously.
Yes.
They wouldn't need to self-drive with the 4x4. So are there like sandy roads to access the lodge? Is it okay to just go in your normal vehicle? So yeah, just wondering about the access to the lodge.
Okay, so because we have like a 30-kilometer gravel road, we normally advise a SUV or bigger. Look, you can make it with a small, let's call it a Volkswagen Up, one of those guys. You can make it onto the farm, but it's going to be challenging. You're going to have to go slow. So we normally recommend SUV or bigger.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any questions? Nope, that seems to be all, Chris. I think you covered it all. Looks like an amazing experience at the lodge. We'll all like to come there very soon, but thank you very much.
Well, be in touch with me.
Thanks, Chris.
Wait, how many is on here? 38. Whoa.
We'll be there this
I
weekend.
take back. Sorry, we fully booked this weekend.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. Okay, thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Chris. Bye.
Cheers now. Bye.